So we covered the intake process, which is obviously one of the most important parts. You have the information for the consumer that you talk to regarding the legal situation, and you have the information in order to follow back up with them. Now, your job's just starting, okay? You can have a lot of different systems in place, but the most important thing is to make sure that you do have that individual's contact information. They reached out to you for a legal need or situation, and they're going to need some help. It may not be immediately right at this point in time, but you need to make sure you follow up with that individual. And it's especially true for consumer bankruptcy attorneys. That's actually where I started my career. And like I said before, the last 10 years I've been doing legal consulting, worked with over 480 firms, and been exposed to a lot of different systems and practices. And the guys that have this system in place have one of the highest retentions out of any firm or any attorney's law office that we've worked with. So that's why I recommend that everybody put these systems in place. And I guarantee if you do put these systems in place, you will see at least a 5 to 10% increase in your business overall. But the most important thing to note is that once you finish the intake process and you get that individual's information as far as their first name, their last name, the best number to reach them at, as well as a secondary follow-up, whether it's a home phone number, an email address, or whatever it is that goes into a CRM tool. And that can be something as simple as Microsoft Excel, like I said before, or one of the very complex CRM systems like Salesforce or Zoho, or any one of the number of customer relationship management tools that are out there. But the most important thing that you do, and especially for bankruptcy work, they're reaching out to you because they have a situation and they've either been contacted or they're getting hounded by creditors, or they've gotten a letter in the mail saying we're foreclosing on your house because you're behind on your payments, or the repo man is stealing their car out of the driveway in the middle of the night. So when they reach out to you initially, they might just be getting some information, but at the end of the day, you and I both know that obviously their situation is not going to get any better. They're typically in the situation that they're in for a number of reasons. One, you do have the occasional situation where obviously somebody has pre-existing medical conditions that wasn't covered by insurance, but a lot of times they're not the most responsible individuals in the world. They need a little help. They're not the best with money management, whatever it is. So they may reach out to you and get some information regarding their situation or case. And the same may be true for any criminal situation, any personal injury situation, just kind of finding out what their options are. But a lot of people don't end up pulling the trigger immediately. That's it. That's just one of the facts of the legal system and kind of the way that it works. But at the end of the day, if you have systems in place in order to follow back up with them, you have a better chance of getting them in the door for the consultation. And once you actually get to sit down with them for a face-to-face consultation, chances of them going to another attorney or another area and retelling their story multiple times over and over and over obviously decrease significantly. So one of the main things that you want to make sure that you have in place is the follow-up and retention systems. So one of the things that I want to share with everybody is one of the guys that I work with that has honestly one of the simplest systems in place and one of the highest retentions out of any client that I even work with. And I'm telling you, out of all of the years that I've been doing legal consulting, he still has one of the simplest systems and highest retention rates. So regardless of whether or not we end up working together, I still challenge every single attorney and firm that I talk to on a daily basis to put these systems in place, because at the end of the day, that's my job, is making sure that you're getting as many people in through the door as you possibly can and building your practice as much as you possibly can. And with these systems, I know for a fact, if you put these in place, you'll see at least a 5 to 10% increase in your annual business, regardless of whatever practice area it is. But it's especially true for consumer bankruptcy work. And like I said, one of the things that he does on the intake process is he makes sure that he gets the individual's first name, last name, and then the phone number to follow up with that individual. And of course, you want to try and get a secondary follow-up with them as well, whether it's an email or their home phone, whatever it might be. But honestly, at the end of the day, I can't tell you how many attorneys I actually talk to who tell me the same thing. You know what? If they don't retain me off the bat, I don't follow up with them or anything like that. I don't want to bother them. And I completely understand where you're coming from with that sentiment. But at the end of the day, listen, they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in if they were the most responsible individuals in the world. A lot of times, and I guess it's not always true for every practice area, obviously somebody involved in an accident, if they were hit by somebody, is definitely not their fault. But a lot of times, and especially in consumer bankruptcy work, the people that are in the situations that they're in, they're there for a reason. A lot of times, you might have the exception to the rule where somebody had pre-existing medical conditions and it wasn't covered by insurance. But in most cases, you have a lot of people who had poor money management and didn't necessarily stay on top of everything, so they do need a little hand-holding. And one of the biggest things is the follow-up and retention process. So at the end of the day, one of the guys that I work with, like I said, who has the highest retention rate out of anybody, has the simplest system in place. He has a CRM, which is a customer relationship management tool. And that can be anything from Salesforce to Zoho or one of the more complex systems. And something as simple as Excel, Microsoft Excel. That's what he used, and that's, at the end of the day, if you don't have resources available to you, what I recommend, and again, one of the simplest systems, but what he does is he takes the individual's first name, the last name, and the phone number, and then a little note about what they talked about, and then he puts the date that he talked to that individual. And if they didn't retain him and they didn't come in for the consultation, then he follows up with them twice within the first week, and you might shoot him an email with his contact information, but once every 30 days for 6 months out, what he does is he reaches out to that individual and he says, hey, it's Brian Harris. I just wanted to follow back up with you. I know I talked with you about 30 days ago regarding your bankruptcy and situation. Obviously, at the time, there wasn't anything I could do for you, but I wanted to see how you were doing and make sure that everything is okay. If there's anything I can do to help you out, I'd love to hear from you and get an update with your situation. If you got everything taken care of, great. If not, the first consultation is obviously always free. I'm always willing to listen, and I hope that there's something I can do to help you. Here's my contact information. Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. And something as simple as that. You're not being pushy. You're just reaching out. And again, you're letting the individual know, listen, I care about you. I want to make sure you're doing okay. I do remember our conversation. I'm not some faceless lawyer working for some huge corporation and all I care about is money. At the end of the day, I'm in this because I enjoy working with people and I want to make a difference. And if there's anything I can do to help you out, I'd love to hear from you. So I challenge everybody to put that system in place, and I guarantee if you do, you'll see at least a 5 to 10% increase in your annual filings for consumer bankruptcy work. And in any other practice area of law, I guarantee you'll see an increase in your business as well, because it all comes down to being a people person, and it's all about people and helping them out. So put those systems in place and make sure that you follow up with those individuals and get them in the door.